Kramer, the millionaire maker, and what a week it was. Why? Because cryptocurrency found a floor. Bitcoin found that floor at $50,000. It didn't retrace. It looks like there's some real stability there, but most importantly, cryptocurrency has become more acceptable and utilized by institutions, and that is what cryptocurrency needs, Bitcoin in particular, in order to have the credibility to continue to grow and expand. In particular, what am I discussing? Tesla considering allowing Bitcoin to be used as a currency to buy Tesla cars. And most important of all, the LA Dodgers deciding that they would offer up suites, which usually go for $63,000. Instead, you could buy the suite for one Bitcoin, which trading around $58,000. Now there's a discount there, but the LA Dodgers are looking to see what kind of interest there will be in using Bitcoin and the acceptance of Bitcoin. Also, Bitcoin ATMs, they're popping up everywhere. Once those Bitcoins become available to be utilized for commerce, that's the big game changer. Now, we have with us Tal Ben-Ari. He is our analyst in the growth area of cryptocurrency, as well as other of the hot trends that are taking place. But in particular, cryptocurrency is something we are looking at carefully to make you money. Tal, we also have with us Stephen Dowler. He is brand manager of Monstercat, a music label. He is based in the Asia Pacific arena, and Monstercat was one of the very first music labels to actually accept NFTs and to be in the non-fungible token space. We're going to be explaining that to you. Tal, welcome, and Stephen, welcome. Let's first talk about Stephen and what is taking place with the art world, the music world. We know that Sotheby's this past week got almost $70 million in an auction for a piece of digital artwork. Yeah. What's your impression of this space? And for those who need some educating on it, because I think everybody does, what would you say this is all about?
Well, really, it's about the ability to take ownership of digital assets. And the way that that's done is on the blockchain. So you're probably familiar with Bitcoin. You're probably familiar, if you're familiar with that, then you may have heard of the blockchain. The blockchain is a set of data that is linked together and then verified against separate nodes within a network and their ledgers to make sure that the data has consensus or is consistent. Now with that, you have a couple of kinds of popular ones that are worth speaking of. Other than Bitcoin, there's another coin which is called Ethereum. Now Ethereum is pretty important because a lot of what are called altcoins or tokens are built on the Ethereum network. You can think of it like an internet of sorts, and there are new websites being built on the internet, right? Or maybe how you would see Unity with game creators. But either way, Ethereum is a very powerful player. Now, one of the rising sides of one of the rising applications of the Ethereum network, I should say, is NFTs, non-fungible tokens.
Let's explain non-fungible tokens. I already referred to them, but everyone needs to know what the buzzword NFTs mean and their significance.
Okay, sure. So basically, if something is fungible, then that means that it can be traded for another of its kind, right, within its class system. So think of money is the easiest example. If I've got 2 5s and a 10, I can trade that to you for a 20. Doesn't matter what the history of that is. You have $20, I have $20 there of equal value, right? Or possibly airline seats, right? Unless you prefer the within a certain class. But if it's going to be business class versus economy, it's that would then be non-fungible. So something like real estate or collector's cards, these are things where they are unique and they have value in that uniqueness. So so that's what cryptocurrency, or I should say the blockchain, excuse me, is applying to the art world right now. And it's a really exciting time. So my company, Monstercat, we got involved as a means to make music collectible again. We are, as you mentioned, a music label. And so within that, we are trying to, like you would with a vinyl record, bring that back to the digital space. There's been a major disruption within the industry, and over the last 20 years, with the rise of Napster and Spotify and all of these kinds of things. And so this is a way to kind of bring it back to making music collectible again. And at the same time, there's all kinds of benefits for the artists. Artists, as these non-fungible tokens, these NFTs are being traded, they are able to continually collect royalties. So it's a really good way for artists to be compensated for their work, especially, people that might not have been compensated before. So there's an interesting case of this guy you may have heard of called Beeple, for example. And Beeple spent the last, 13 years, something like that, doing a new piece of digital art every day. And prior to this, those pieces of digital art, they just went on Instagram and didn't have much more value than, gaining Instagram followers. But now he just sold the set of them for $69 million with partnering with Christie's, which is as you probably know, a very, very reputable auction house. So there is real value in this movement right now. That is plain to see with numbers like that. I can go through.
Steve, can you tell us a little bit about the artists in the space and kind of the art itself? What do you look for when you're first off, maybe how do you access it? And second, what is it? Is it just anything out there right now is worth getting, or do we need to focus on certain things?
Right. How is it differentiated what artist to invest in? But I have even a bigger umbrella question that so many of my colleagues, are wondering, and that is, what's the value of a piece of art that's digital? How do you display it? How do you show it? Because it doesn't just sit on the wall, or do you put a big screen on your wall and you display it on the screen?
Sure, all very good questions. So if you've heard of the term the metaverse, that is something that a lot of us are inevitably going to be experiencing within our lifetimes, and that is basically just the merging of the digital world with the real world, right? Whether that's through VR, XR, AR, whatever, what have you. And so to answer your question, within that digital world, you're going to, just like you would have a Gucci bag or a vinyl or something like that, you're going to have assets that you can show to people, because it's a flex at the end of the day, right? It's to show that you have this. And so, like, for example, NBA Top Shots, they've been doing a very good job of creating an incredible revenue stream for the NBA right now. And that's just NFTs for the NBA, just moments and gifts within the NBA and its history. And so recently, when the most expensive Top Shots was sold, the guy who sold it just put it on the Twitter. He put it on his Twitter. He said, I am the person that bought this, and right there, he's got his flex, and it was worth it. I think he paid a couple $100,000 for it, right?
Wow.
And then you go into stuff like Decentraland, where it's a virtual world, and everything is on the blockchain, and you can own this and you can own that, and the applications go really far, and so it's still early days. It's very early days, but it really does feel like this is one of those things where it's like late 90s internet or what social media,
I'm with you, Stephen. I'm totally with you on that. And that's why as a stock show, a stock market show where we're always bringing actionable advice, what companies are moving, what you should be investing in. That's why I decided to dedicate the beginning of this show, the top of the hour, on cryptocurrency, Bitcoin, Ethereum, explaining non-fungible tokens, what's going on with digitization. Now, before we wrap it up, because we're gonna have to take a break, I would love for everyone to know how they can get involved. And well, personally, I think you really have to do your homework and understand what you're doing, because it's a lot of money, and it's still the Wild West. So you have to really understand. But if someone wanted to get involved, would they go to Makers Art, or what would you recommend?
Sure. So MakersPlace is a great one. Nifty Gateway, I actually prefer the most as an entry-level one, just because they have such a great market. But both of those are able to take credit cards and what's called fiat money, which is not cryptocurrency. It's money in the traditional sense. Another really popular one is OpenSea, and that is only used with Ether as its currencies, and a lot of them will be traded with Ether. But Nifty Gateway, for my money, is the greatest entryway, I would say. MakersPlace, also a great one. Beeple did something on there recently in conjunction with the Christie's auction. And when you're choosing them, I would say, to answer Tal's question, at least for what I look for people that are going to have a story 18 years from now, and have some sort of historical significance within it, and people that are involved in the community, right? So people like Beeple, people like Blau, who was the first one to bring music into it, people like and don't forget IPs, people like Boss Logic or Jose Delbo, with Marvel and DC, people or Trevor Jones is another good one, that are just that are just part of the story. I could go on forever with that.
No, that's great. Stephen, can you just stay with us? We're going to be right back. And I just want to talk a little more about the specific stars of the crypto world and NFTs. This is Hillary Kramer, the Millionaire Maker.